Welcome, MechWarrior. You're accessing beginner-level training manuals for the Shadowhawk SHD-2H provided by Ronin Fox Armored Security. I'll be your instructor, Fox. This tactical debriefing will cover the specifications, strengths and weaknesses of the Shadowhawk 2H, as well as how to refit and operate your own in the field. Because this is the beginner level, some restrictions will apply, including no lost tech, no upgrades, no mods, Tier 1 equipment only, DLC will be allowed. Let us begin. Lang Industries Shadowhawk SHD-2H. Weight class, medium. Role, Skirmisher. Availability, very common. Threat level, moderate. Description. The Shadowhawk is a famous and prolific mech dating back to the early days of the Star League. It was designed as an all-purpose mech that could be built in large numbers and used in virtually any circumstance. As a result, the Shadowhawk blends a mixture of speed, toughness, mobility, and firepower at variable ranges. Lang Industries' original Shadowhawk was nearly perfect, but it did have an issue with its leg armor, cutting into its myomers when struck by gunfire. There would be a factory recall to fix this issue, and the mech was successfully relaunched in 2550, where it gained widespread fame and respect. It is said that some original models without the factory refits still exist today. The Shadowhawk was considered unusual for mounting jump jets on something larger than a light mech in its time, and it also featured an advanced Sparrow 300J life support system which allowed its pilot greater comfort and 30% more effectiveness in stressful situations. The Shadowhawk became known across the inner sphere as a top-of-class medium mech capable of reconnaissance, raiding and cargo lifting with its hand actuators, as well as providing standoff fire support with its long-range weapons. Unfortunately, Lang Industries' Shadowhawk factories would be destroyed in the Succession Wars, though Earthworks Incorporated would continue Shadowhawk production in the inner sphere, while Majesty Metals and Manufacturing would build them in the Periphery. Today, those searching for a Shadowhawk can find them virtually anywhere, but House Davion is said to field the largest quantity of them. Specifications. Maximum weight, 55 tons. Minimum weight, 27 tons. This means 28 tons are available for total customization. Top speeds are 81 kilometers forward, 53 kilometers in reverse, standard engine. This could be seen as average speed for a medium mech. Stock armor is 304 units, which is 9.5 tons of standard armor. Maximum possible armor is 382 units, which is 11.93 tons of armor. This could be seen as above average armor for a medium mech. Stock weaponry includes an AC-5 burst fire left torso with 1 ton of AC-5 ammo, which is 80 rounds left torso. An LRM-5 right torso with 1 ton of LRM ammo, which is 440 missiles or 88 volleys right torso. An SRM-2 in the head with 1 ton of SRM ammo, which is 320 missiles or 160 volleys center torso. 1 medium laser right arm. 2 medium battle fists left and right arm. These are melee weapons rated at 20 damage, and they are equivalent to Tier 1 medium knuckles, meaning they are 5 damage stronger than the typical medium hand actuator. 3 Class 4 jump jets, right torso, left torso, and center torso, and 2 additional heat sinks. Strengths and weaknesses. The Shadowhawk is a skirmisher, which are multifunctional mechs designed to be useful in a wide variety of different combat situations. In this role, it performs well. These are its strengths. Flexible weaponry, able to reasonably engage enemies at any range, close or far. Decent armor, enough to close distances with enemies reliably, affording a newer MechWarrior room to make errors. Quick. Its swift speeds allow the Shadowhawk to control its spacing relative to enemies, as well as pursue scout mechs. Battle fists, equivalent to installing basic armored knuckles. They hit harder and are installed on the mech by default. Very common, the Shadowhawk can be found virtually anywhere. The Shadowhawk still has weaknesses, however. Low ammo for the AC-5. A single ton of ammo will not last most missions. Disparate weaponry. The wide variety of weapons can be difficult to keep track of for optimal ranges and rates of fire. Recustomization. Ronin Fox Armored Security recommends the following Shadowhawk SHD-2H refit for the beginner MechWarrior. It will focus on simplifying weaponry and enhancing survivability. Starting with a stripped mech, add 1 AC-5 burst fire with 2 tons of AC-5 ammo, which is 160 rounds. Max the mech's armor and add one SRM-6 and one SRM-4 with 1.5 tons of SRM ammo, which is 480 missiles or 48 volleys. This will take the mech over its tonnage limit, bring it into compliance by tuning its armor. Set all rear armor to 10 and move the rest to the forward armor, set head armor to 24 and legs to 48 armor each. This refit fully reinforces the Shadowhawk for prolonged combat and greatly increases close quarters damage. It also simplifies the weapon, making the mech easier to use. BattleRom Debriefing. Now that the Shadowhawk 2H has been refitted, it's time to see how to operate it in the field. These will be the mission conditions. Mission type, Battlefield. Difficulty, 44. Drop weight, 230 tons. Allies include one Crab CRB-20 and two Wolverine WVR-6Rs, all in stock configuration. Pilot skill, regular. If you own a BattlePod training simulator, check Document 1 in the video's description for an instant action code allowing you to recreate this battle for training purposes. Welcome to Marlet 3 MechWarrior. In 3044, McCarran's armored cavalry, having recovered from the Fourth Succession War, would launch another attack on the Davion-controlled Fort Burgonia, having razed it years ago in 3022. They now return to repeat this process once again. In addition to boasting impressive defenses, the fort was also known for a sophisticated Lost-Tech bridge, the Stanek Bridge, which measured 3 miles in length. It would be spared from destruction both times by Archibald McCarran. You'll be seeing the perspective of Zenko 1 skirmishing with the Federated Sons, led by House Otto. It is said that foxes bring luck, and Zenko cashes in on this, managing to discover a pair of ravens on patrol. Zenko moves to attack speed to neutralize these valuable scouts. The skirmishing lance is quick, able to realistically keep pace with the scouts, putting the first raven down quickly. The Shadowhawk then demonstrates its flexible AC-5, allowing it to ground helicopters comfortably. Zenko then corners the final raven, a shower of SRMs battering the mech apart. Not long later, a Leopard combat drops a heavier lance in, likely intended for the Big Mech, including an Enforcer, a Quick Draw, and a Catapult. The Quick Draw is chosen first as it is lightly armored and making an aggressive push. Zenko 1 rakes gunfire over the mech before moving into cover as the Davion lance focuses on him. Emerging on the other side of a hill, Zenko 1 closes and delivers a brutal punch from the Shadowhawk before finishing the Quick Draw. Now the Enforcer was next, separated from its catapult. Skirmishing begins as Zenko 1 searches for the catapult, taking cover behind the hills again. However, with the Enforcer cut off, Zenko focuses fire upon it, shredding it down. Zenko 1, a bit battered from the earlier fighting, switches his Shadowhawk to a more reserved fire support role, approaching cautiously and allowing the rest of Zenko to face the catapult directly. When the catapult turns its lasers upon him, Zenko 1 takes cover and allows the rest of the lance to finish the job, showing restraint in the midst of battle. Afterwards, a final heftier team emerges with a Cataphract and a Zeus. Zenko 1 sets up his lance to begin the fighting without him as he awaited around a mountain. As the Cataphract approaches, the mountain cuts the line of sight off with the Zeus, preventing them from both focusing fire on Zenko 1. He backs off as the Zeus pushes forward, using the terrain to spoil its aim. Leaning into the superior speed of the Shadowhawk, Zenko 1 backs off, looping around the mountain and forcing the Zeus's attention back onto his lance while he moved to prepare a flanking attack. Rounding the corner, Zenko 1 hammers the Zeus's arm with splitting gunfire, ruining its primary weapon systems. He then targets the mech's other arm to cripple its offensive capabilities before rounding back through the mountains again. To put the assault mech down, Zenko 1 finds its rear armor, and the lance hammers the mech down and successfully protects the Shadowhawk's exposed side torso. With their patrol completed and facing much harder opposition than expected, Zenko Lance returns. The Shadowhawk's flexibility allowed it to perform many tasks, including intercepting scouts, attacking enemies at a variety of ranges, leading assaults, and flanking enemies' weak points. The Lance's cohesion allowed them to return without any component losses as well. This concludes the tactical debriefing for the Shadowhawk SHD-2H. You now have a further understanding of the mech's specifications, strengths and weaknesses, as well as how to operate and refit your own Shadowhawk 2H in the field. Thank you for choosing Ronin Fox Armored Security for all your training needs. Okay, mech bros, that was the Shadowhawk, one of the legendary unseen mechs, but now it's time for the usual smash or pass, but out of character. So Shadowhawk, smash or pass? I'm gonna have to smash, mech bros. This mech is stout. It's not fancy, but it works. If you're afraid of ammo weapons, though, you will hate this mech. Look, I'm not saying I'm a Shadowhawk stan, but I can recognize that it's solid. So yeah, pick up a Shadowhawk if you're upgrading into medium mechs. It should serve you well. Anyways, check out my Ghost Bear Flash Storm DLC playthrough if you haven't seen it, and stay tuned for the next mech. It's going to be a heavy mech this time around. And don't forget to support the Fox Republic. Keep the lights on for Ronin Fox Armored Security by leaving a comment, a like, joining my social media. You can even chat with me if you want if you join the Discord. Links down below. That's it though. Commander Fox is dipping out. So deuces everyone. Remember that you don't have to be good to get good.